if we can manage our spiritual quotient, our SQ, everything else can fall into place, including our wellness, our stress levels, how we thrive at work, where we tend to pour our energy into, whether it's a big project that we need a lot of hours in this particular part of time, and walk versus, run in other times, which are a little slower potentially. But spiritual quotient, SQ, I don't think we talk about it in business enough. And it's very new as a concept, I think, in business to bring in spirituality. If you caught my podcast on are you still in the spiritual closet at work? It's kind of related. But I want you to start thinking about this if you can, and just ask yourself the question, how am I doing in SQ, spiritual quotient? And to me, this is really, what are your practices that help you feel aligned with the meaning beyond yourself, right? Spirituality is a very broad, nebulous term. It doesn't mean religion, but it can. But it's anything that helps you feel aligned with your higher self, capital S, meaning this is who I am as a spiritual person. Maybe you've got practices. Maybe there's prayer, meditation. It could be mindful walking, mindful noticing. It could be journaling. It's whatever gets you into the meaning beyond yourself and your specific things you have to do today, or what your particular human, individual, one person goals and values are, and all of that. And so I thought this was so important, and I love that she brought this up, because it's going to happen, everybody. We're going to get there as a collective. I believe that this will be the norm. We're talking about IQ, and we're over-indexed on that, and that's okay. Anyone can pick up technical tools or learn skills, but the actual practices that help you feel in alignment with spirit, with universe, with God, whatever you want to call that, nature, higher self, whatever, like fill in the blank, whatever works for you. It's not about the words per se. That is so important in business and in work, because it manages, like, we feel better. We feel more healthy. We feel more alive. We are thriving. We're, toggling this doing and being stuff, the pausing that I talk all the time about. And if you can ask yourself, how am I doing? Let's say scale 1 to 5, 1 to 5. How am I doing in spiritual quotient? Do I have practices that I enjoy and that bring me fulfillment on a spiritual level? Where would you fall on that scale? 1 being low, 5 being like ideal. And just give yourself a rating right now, right? Maybe you're right in the middle, 3. I do it sometimes I don't, but I feel okay about it, right? I would put that at a 3. 1 is like, wait, what's SQ? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I would say that's probably a 1, maybe a 1.5. 5 would be like, oh, I have all these practices. I'm very consistent and committed to these practices. These are what my toolkit is, and I live and work by it. And then ask yourself, after you get the rating, why is this important to me? Pause and ask yourself, why is this important to me? Why does it matter that I have a spiritual quotient, an SQ? And then how do I bring this into my life? Like, how do I bring this into my leadership would be the third question. So these 3 questions about SQ, I think, can really help us root ourselves in feeling incredible as leaders and really super thriving. And I think as women, it's our job to lead the way in this. It's just what we do. We are connected to our emotions in general. We're more fluid in that area. We have the context to know we can touch base with our feelings and bring that into a moment, whether we're at work or at home or anything. But it really is about, I think, taking the stand for that, knowing that matters. And then the more people who bring this into our workplace, whether it's a conversation at the water cooler, maybe you have a 2-minute reflection on it at the beginning of a meeting. It's just interesting. This is where we bring in our courageous curiosity, right? Because it takes courage to kind of dive into this area as well. We have to be courageous to go into the unknown. And I would say probably, 99.9% of us don't really bring this into the workplace, unless maybe you work in the spiritual realm in some capacity. Maybe it's church, maybe it's a synagogue. I don't know. I would love to hear, do you bring this into your workplace or leadership? And my sense is a lot of times we might do this as a separate practice, which is okay. Like, that's great. I love that. But I want us to start thinking about this on a level where it's the same as EQ, IQ, UQ, that's you, I just made that up. And go from there. All right. So are you with me? Who's picking up what I'm laying down? If you are, let me know. Put your ranking in here. Where are you on the spiritual quotient ranking of 1 to 5? For me, just sharing my personal experience. Okay, so for me, first you have to identify what those practices might look like. So for me, it's prayer every morning, prayer at night, and this is like as I'm lying down. It's meditation, 15 minutes minimum, or ideally around that every day, maybe even more than that, depends. It's like integrating this throughout my day as well. So thinking about how am I doing in the SQ right now? Am I aligned? When I was in Europe, I bought angel cards. I was at a beautiful church in Lyon. You might know it. It's this beautiful church overlooking the city on the beautiful hill. And they had a shop, and I bought an angel card. I bought 3 cards because I had already bought olive oil and it was way too heavy for my bag. So I'm like, I need really light gifts for myself. So I bought angel cards from Archangel Michael. I bought an angel card from Raphael. I should show you these. And then Saint Francis of Assisi, who was a saint who I don't know, I just like him a lot. So let me show you. They're right here. Ta-da. So I made a little mini altar. Here they are. So there's okay, let me see. Archangel Michael, and it talks about him in French. French Michael. This is Raphael, who's in purple. Right. So Raphael is a specific archangel. Gosh, gotta turn off that thing for the blur. And then here's Saint Francis, who's looking at Jesus there on the cross. Anyway, I really identify a lot with Saint Francis because the schools I went to were Jesuit, which he was one of the founders of. There's a big statue of him, there's a statue of him in the Grace Cathedral a block away from my home here. I just love him. And so I'm like, I'm going to buy these. And so for me, I look at this, it's eye level when I'm at my dresser behind me. And I just like take a moment and it's pretty cool. Like, I'm like, hey guys, it's me. How are you? Thanks for being here today. And I just give myself a little moment. So for me, that's a great SQ practice. I just got them. So that's a new practice for me. But I think we all need to identify what are the things that I'm doing on a spiritual level that really help me feel aligned and feel like there's something bigger than myself happening, which is always the case because we're in a universe with 8 billion people on a 4 billion-year-old planet or more. And it helps us feel more purposeful as well. So there's a lot of motive on why it's important to have this SQ in our world, but also just to bring it in the forefront. And as a leader, I think it helps personally feel more secure, more confident, more clear, all the things that we do with EQ. And it's very complementary. So I hope that helps you today. And I just realized I got to go to a meeting. Thank you all. Have a great week. And I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.